Hello! I play a lot of solo games and has learned most of what I know about Hunt Showdown 1896 from playing by myself and trying different variety of playstyles. And lately, people have been asking me what useful tips I might have for this game, solo or not, and even just movements in general. So I thought long and hard about this, because I'm sure there's a guide for every little detail of this game out there. But this is my take of the 10 most useful things that changed the game for the better for me. So let's get into it. Stop repeaking. This one can be a bit situational, as everything is in this game, but in most scenarios, if you shoot at someone and miss, or only does a body tap, more often than not, you're better off not peeking the same angle again. Instead, rotate to a position your enemy is unaware of, and try again. The biggest difference between a new player and a more experienced player is the greed that comes with repeaking the same angle too much. Say you're in a fight, and you're both shooting at each other, maybe even both getting hits on each other. Whoever left the angle first, to heal or even just reload for a split second, is now worse off due to peeker's advantage. Because of this, it's, like I said, in most cases not worth the repeak. It's okay to make noise. Hunt Showdown 1896 has a lot of sound traps, which you can easily shut off if you interact with them correctly. But it is okay to move around and trigger sound traps, as long as you move a lot and don't stick around once you made a lot of noise. Most sound traps in this game continue to make noise quite a while after you've interacted with them and left the area. So if anyone hears it, they'll go towards the sound that you're no longer at. Now, I do not recommend being all careless and set off a lot of noise. But if it does happen, it's not the end of the world as long as you keep moving. Intentional sound traps. Yeah, I know, I just said one thing and now I'm saying the opposite. Not quite, because I do think it's worth mentioning the benefits of setting off sound traps to lure enemies into peeking a certain angle or focus on somewhere else than where you are. With the right tool or weapon, you can set off sound traps that you're nowhere near to trick your enemies into thinking you are somewhere while you're flanking around somewhere else. Avoid killing AI when fleeing. This one in particular has helped me in more situations than I can count. Say you have a bounty, or in any case is being chased by a team, and they're trying to catch you before you're extracting. In this case, try as much as you can to avoid killing any AI that may be in your path. Often small little movements can slow a zombie down, since they get stuck on trees and rocks, and they might even stop following you altogether. What this does is you're creating a path behind you that is now full of AI that tried to catch you but couldn't. And the team that is chasing you now has to deal with all of it, which will eventually slow them down and make it harder for them to catch you, and you might be able to get away. Always move when in the open. I do see a lot of people crouching around in the middle of open areas for whatever reason. It's okay to stand still and take aim if you're in cover, but if you're in the open, you're a much bigger target if you're barely moving. Moving a lot can often trick an enemy to give away their position as well by missing a shot on you if they can't hit you as easily. Don't pick unnecessary fights. I see a lot of people complaining about cambers in Hunt Showdown 1896, and hell, I found myself doing it at times as well. But there is often times you can simply move on and not having to deal with them. I know this sounds a bit silly, but really, if you're up against people that won't peek you and the match is going nowhere, you're better off just leaving the situation instead of playing their waiting game. Use the right traits for the right loadout. Really get to know your traits and what they can do for you. It gives such a big benefit if you have the right traits equipped. For example, using poison sense if you have poison ammo, bolt thrower if you're using crossbows, iron eye if you're using certain types of weapons, so on and so forth. Learn by doing. Sitting in a bush and waiting for the game to play itself will never teach you anything. The best way to learn movements and rotations is by doing it. You will only get better from making moves and learning from your mistakes. We all die a lot, but be conscious of what you're dying from and why it happened and learn from it. Separate your key bindings. You've probably heard this one before, but it is crucial for good movements and can save your hunter in multiple occasions. The keys I'm talking about is of course your jump and vault, but also your interact and stop bleeding / burning. Separating your jump and vault keys will prevent you from unwanted vaulting when you're trying to jump, and be able to vault certain areas you couldn't before if you didn't separate them. Separating your interact from burning / bleeding prevents you from picking up things around you instead of stopping the burning or bleeding.
I picked up a hammer instead of stopping the fucking bleed!
Auto interact. In your control settings, you have an option to toggle on auto interact. What this does is whenever you hold down your interact key, whatever you're looking at, you will interact with, making it easier to pick up arrows, bolts, tools, or even interacting with a grenade if you have Dauntless equipped as a trait. And that's 10. I hope you could use at least one of these tips to maybe better yourself in the game, or share it with a friend that might be struggling. I post Hunt Showdown content every single week on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Or come and hang with us on my live stream over at twitch.tv, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Later!